Hello, and welcome to Living as Is. And I'm Shar, Autistic, self-aware, and awakening. And I've decided that will also be the subject for today. I will give a brief explanation, and I will work on not going into any length. And so today it will be about autism, self-aware, awakening, and I'll add on the end how I came to choose the title Living as Is. So let's start with autistic. To those that already know and are aware through living the life, bear with me. I've met a number of neurotypicals that have no idea. And I've also experienced a number of neurotypicals making remarks such as, we can all be a bit like that. Okay, let's move forward. Autism is defined in a traditional sense as a complex disorder. I'll come back to that word disorder in a moment. It's been questioned, that word. But for the moment, we're looking at things in a traditional sense as a complex disorder and affects the way a person will communicate and relate to those around themselves. It's also wide-ranging in the severity experienced by those affected. Areas involved will be social interaction, social communication, and restricted, repetitive, stereotyped ways of behavior, interests, and activities. By no means is this a full explanation or descriptive enough. Also, there may be issues where other issues, such as narcissistic personality disorder, they could be misdiagnosed with it. Excuse me. On top of this, the way in which we autistics develop, it can mean our symptoms are more personally related to ourselves and not so broadly placed in the diagnosis of autism in general. Now, I mentioned the word disorder, and it was under some request to be changed. It's been questioned if the word disorder actually fits into the understanding of autism. And the question about it is, autism is not solely related to a mental state, which is where the word disorder can mainly relate to. So there is some difference here. When using that word, it kind of points everything towards autism being a mental state when it isn't. So I kind of agree that word could do with being changed or just removed. As an autistic, I relate to social communication issues and one or two other issues. However, when focused on my chosen subject, intuitive readings, the spiritual life, associated areas, my focus greatly increases, and so does my communication. This is actually the same for many autistics. To be able to focus intently into one subject. I also wish to pick up on a point made in reference to the wide-ranging severity experienced by autistics. So while a non-autistic, or what you may call a neurotypical, makes the remark, we can all be a bit like that, they are not experiencing the wide-ranging severity experienced by autistics. There's a major difference which cannot be lumped into being the same. Now, I'm also self-aware and doing a bit of internet search to see if I could come up with an ABC of what self-aware might be. This is what I came to. Aware of oneself, including traits, feelings, and behaviors. Aware of oneself as an individual that exists in the real world. Aware of yourself as an individual or of your own being, actions, and thoughts. This has taken a lot more to understand. It was something for myself that was never immediately clear. As I went around, I kind of thought throughout my life, my perception was that everyone could do the same things I could do, see the world the same way, perceive things the same way. However, instead of seeing clarity in understanding with everyone, there only lay confusion. Even though I still feel in either similar ways or the same, we're still capable of the same, it isn't proving to be the case. Now, over time, through study with different belief systems, Christianity, Buddhism, Advaita Vedanta, adding on to all of that, dealing with my PTSD and going through therapy sessions, it very slowly started to become clear there was a difference in the way my thought processes worked compared to everyone else. And much later, knowing I'm autistic, that answered so much more than I ever could have imagined. It was also helped going onto forums, talking to people. I made a very good friend who's autistic and runs their own channel. And their ability to help me understand is fantastic. And going onto these forums, it was like finding so many like-minded people all in one place. They were speaking my language. The one thing that I do feel really benefited was the ability to self-analyze. That's, for me, where the world really expanded. With each understanding to my life's issues, expansion into the spiritual world, understanding self in deeper ways. I took on board all of this into myself, and then it all slowly came back to the surface through answers when needed. And also with this information coming back to the surface, it also helped with interpretations to people I meet, see, or listen to online. Self-aware, I perceive as seeing of oneself and the world in a clear and open manner, with the ability to step back as required and opening deeper when needed. Along with this, a growing in the depth of understanding felt and eventually seen. And just as I believe we're all capable on some level of doing the same things, being the same, I truly believe in some way, on some level, we are all self-aware. And then this is me chair dancing, because we arrive on the dance floor of awakening. What a word to dance with, awakening. To share the stage of the universe and be at one with all. Now, if we take self-awareness and we say this is the ground, this is where you're at, and we take this as the ground to move from, you have a level of knowing that's it's being activated. It's acting, responding, and growing. It's a connection to something beyond self, beyond where you may perceive yourself to be just here and everything else is over there, and so it's beyond where you perceive yourself to be. If you believe in a deity, God, divine, you may even say all is love, all is the universe. You're bringing a thought process of something that is perceived as beyond self into self, into yourself, your self-awareness. In some ways, opening doors to connect to this being, this deity, this sense and feeling of something beyond. In doing so, you may connect it to others, connect to animals, to plants, to the earth, to the universe. However, I feel it slowly becomes so personal, it's as if you start to feel you are one. Therefore, no separation, no individuation. This isn't a duality. Nothing that will place a you and a them, or a you and a tree, or you and a God. Now, one emphasis I want to put here is that this doesn't turn you into some kind of cultist, or even that you're losing your comprehension of life. Although it may feel that way as you expand and become, your thought patterns do change, your thought patterns do adjust. They adjust in a way of broadening, in a way of seeing, in a way of knowing, something that you wouldn't necessarily be prepared for. However, as all blends and becomes, you're also connecting into life. It's as if you open to life in a way never experienced before. It doesn't mean that the world becomes the home of a monk, a nun, a hermit, or some spiritual lonely traveler. That's a choice. If you want that choice, that's your choice. But it doesn't mean you become that. As you connect into awakening and you deepen within, There's a unity. There's this bringing together of all. This is awakening. Your growth into a feeling of oneness, into being connected to all, connected, a part of everything, an embracing of living as is, in your oneness of all that is. And that is a perfect segue into living as is, the name choosing for this channel and my website. What a perfect segue. Couldn't have planned it better. There was a seeing to what life is for myself, a seeing that showed me all that was lived and experienced arrived in the moment. I said the moment. Perhaps it would have been better if I'd said a moment, but it wouldn't have made any difference because the moment is the moment. If we look at something like 1 o'clock and you have 2 o'clock, it's the same moment. It's an endless moment. It just is the moment. So I did have an aha. I did have this moment where a friend of mine changed the channel name to Living Awake. And I looked at those words and it was just like, oh, right. And out came living as is. I'm autistic. I'm living as is. I'm self-aware. I'm living as is. I'm awakening. I'm living as is. Everything is lived as is. How it used to be. It was as if life was lived in all of these compartments. And I was separated and going from door to door to door. And I would change hats and keep changing hats from friend to friend, from job to job, perspective to perspective. Actually, you may feel it yourself. As you go from being a sister to a mother, a wife, a lover, an office worker, maybe brother to a father, husband, lover, office worker, factory worker, boss. Within each space, each moment, you're swapping hats. Perceptions will change. Titles will change. You're dancing in life with life, but maybe in a jagged, unsettled rhythm. It felt this way for myself. A confusion of spaces, a swapping of thought processes, and all I wanted to do was to be me. Then, in a moment of grace, it all settled in the seeing of those words, living as is. I'd previously come across a fantastic design company, Chroma Supply, or Chroma Supplies. I'll put the link down below in the description. So, living as is, these letters, these fantastic colour-filled letters, they were created from paint. Not completely losing their colour and mixing it all together. Actually, let's take this L. Let's bring the L down, and here we have this fantastic L. It's a fancy L. It's full of colour. It's amazing, isn't it? I love this. It's amazing how it can be connected to all around, yet still be an L. All that colour. all that vibrance. Let's put it back. Let's put it back. This is life for myself. All this colour. This is living as is. You never lose your colour. Never lose you. And you find living as is, as you are. Living as I am, awakening, self-aware, autistic. Or I could be self-aware, autistic, awakening, or I could be awakening, autistic, self-aware. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm living as is. And all of this connected. All of it as one. Oh, I bet you didn't know you could be. I bet you didn't know you could be that. So free, so open, so connected. Wow. Wow. Thank you for being a part of my video. For watching, for listening, thank you. And please do support. I'd like to grow the channel, so please subscribe, click like, go nuts, go click to be notified as well of the next video. Join in, come on. Thank you. Thank you. Blessings to you all.